Okay, fresh battery and we're ready to go to talk about Ascension of the Cybermen. I actually quite liked this episode, at least evaluating it on its own and not as part of the big story. I thought it was okay.
The Cybermen kill people, but they don't convert them because Moffat did a wonderful job at doing the cyber conversion and how scary it is in Series 10.
Well, actually, no,
so why have the Cybermen?
Well, also they did a really good job with how scary cyber conversion looks in Age of Steel, because the way it looked in there was horrifying.
Yeah, I guess.
But, yeah, it's just sort of like, it's your basic Cybermen fighting against human resistance kind of story. But it was interesting, especially because the lone Cyberman was the leader of the army, and I know Ben wasn't a fan of him, but I quite liked him. I think, like, one thing I did want to mention was the way they had the new designs of the Cybermen look.
Yes, that's fine, I guess.
I didn't quite like it because, I mean, like, the sleek kind of Iron Man body looked okay, but they already kind of did that with the Moffat-era Cybermen. It was just having the old-school helmet on it that I thought was really misplaced. It didn't quite match up.
No, well, you see, I just see it as Cybermen just carry on, really, but that was the point. You need to keep the Cybermen interesting, not just be this oncoming onslaught of robots, which they are not.
I guess. But it was an interesting episode because we kind of get a bit of a Midnight sort of feel with all of these various characters kind of distrusting one another and not knowing how to sort of know what to do because they're the last of humanity. So if they die, that's basically it.
Yeah, they could have built up that threat a bit more, in my opinion, but...
Was basically the plot is that they're trying to effectively get to their equivalent of Exodus to reach the end of the universe where they can cross over into a new world where there will be no Cybermen.
Yes, that was the plan.
Which it's revealed that where they were crossing over to was actually Gallifrey, which begs the question, what happened to all the previous humans that had crossed over? Were they destroyed along with the rest of the Gallifrey culture?
Well, they were going towards a nuked Gallifrey, so they were hardly going to live in the ruins of it.
But that depends if they got over, because the guy said that he hadn't seen another human in a long time, the guy who was helping them cross over.
Yes, the guy who should have been a Time Lord, but was just some random old man.
Yeah, and it's just sort of like, whatever.
Were you going to do anything with him? No?
No.
Okay.
But anyway, the Doctor and the gang reach there, and the portal opens up and the Master comes out from the other side.
Surprise, I escaped.
Yeah.
Guess what? It's about to get a whole lot worse.
Which, to be fair, at this point, the fact that the Master never explains how he survives has just become an ongoing joke.
Yeah, that's fine, to be honest.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
The fact he turns up is just, yeah, cool, whatever.
But yeah, anyway, so he comes through, and then that leads into the final episode of the series, The Timeless Child.
The Timeless Children, plural.
Yeah, so... This is where it gets to the big thing that follows on from Fugitive of the Jadoon.
The Master locks the Doctor up and explains exposition, which we probably didn't need to know about.
Yeah, so basically the Master puts the Doctor into the Matrix, not the movie. He puts them
the
into
Gallifreyan Matrix, Time Lord repository, all knowledge.
It's basically the Time Lord...
Dating from pre-Time Lord history onwards.
It's basically the Time Lord Wikipedia.
Yes.
And so basically he shows the Doctor that the pre-Time Lord cultures on Gallifrey...
is based on the lie of the timeless child who randomly popped up one day and some random person named Tenochtitlan or whatever her name was decided, I know, I'm just going to abuse you for science purposes.
Yeah, so basically this one explorer finds a child on another world and decides to adopt her because, yeah, you find another child on another planet and you just treat her like any other one. And then an accident happens where she falls off a cliff, but then she regenerates into another child. So basically she was the first Time Lord, the first one who could regenerate, and her adoptive mother reverse engineers her biology to allow everyone else in Gallifrey to regenerate.
A big point which we absolutely forgot to mention in episode 9 is that all this is subtly referenced via a minor subplot to an Irish Garda person's life.
Oh yeah, I completely
Brendan.
forgot about
Yeah.
that. It's like, what the hell was the point of that?
The point of that was the fact that this was all stuff from the Matrix, which was being obscured and recontextualized.
Yeah, basically they keep
this
showing
man's reference.
flashbacks in Ascension of the Cybermen of an Irish policeman who
His entire life from birth to death.
yeah, basically, and apparently it's meant to be the
That's what the Timeless Child went through.
yeah, because basically they explain the big bombshell is that the Timeless Child was the Doctor. How the hell that makes sense, I have no idea.
She's an immortal that keeps on regenerating, and so the Time Lords used and abused her throughout their prehistory, and then it keeps on going, and then Joe Martin, as the Doctor, tried to be a renegade and disappear, but then she came back, and then somehow in that point 4 different producers and directors were also the Doctor, a la Brain of Morbius, because they decided to canonise that for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay guys, cool, whatever.
It's just
I was so apathetic at this point.
it was just a complete and utter mess. It was clearly, again, like we've mentioned the whole time, Chris Chibnall had a bunch of ideas and decided to use all of them, but also was having a situation where he didn't think about these ideas before he did it.
He's thought about it all right, because we're going to explore those origins next series.
I'm sure.
God!
I mean, it's like, to me,
Leave it alone, you'll put it out of shape.
To me, Chris Chibnall has sort of become like a YouTuber where he's thinking, I'll provocate and make all the money now and figure out the problems later.
If you say so.
That's my mentality of the whole thing. It's just sort of like,
I just look at what he's doing and go, nah, it's not for me.
I mean, I feel like retcons to the Doctor's history almost never really work.
It's not a retcon, it's a prehistory that he's making. It doesn't touch
But that
Hartnell onwards.
that makes it a retcon, retroactive continuity.
Continuity is what you can remember as said the dead Terrence Dix.
Well, anyway, it's sort of like, I feel like retcons of the Doctor's history almost never really work, and this one's probably the worst out of all of them, because I don't even really get what they were trying to intend to do with this. It was sort of like, I guess, like, initially it felt like they were trying to make it seem like, oh, this character you knew the whole time was something completely different. But then near the end of the episode, Jodie Whittaker makes a big thing. It's like, I don't care who I was before. This is who I am now.
Which is the right choice.
It's a good thing to. It's a good mentality, but it's just like, I have no idea what the hell is going on.
Thank you for digging up all this dirt. We'll ignore it or keep it for next series, maybe.
Yeah, it's just sort of like, it didn't really add anything. It wasn't entertaining. It wasn't fascinating, and it just was a complete mess. It's just like, I mean, it's sort of like, I'm sure that there are people out there who liked this plot twist, and if so, that's fine.
Good on you. Yeah,
but it's just a situation where I don't really care about what happened in the Doctor's past. I just want to know what happens in his future, or her future rather. And
his, her, hits, they, etc.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just sort of like a situation of, I feel like Chris Chibnall has become a situation where he's not thinking about where he wants to do stuff that is fun. It's more like he's trying to show off how much power he has now that he's the head writer.
In the middle of random standalone stories each series.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is not the eclectic mix you want, really.
Yeah, I mean, say what you will about Stephen Moffat. I know that there's a lot you can say. I really love Stephen Moffat. But say what you will about him, at least when he was writing his series, he had the idea of he wanted to do fun stories.
Fun, terrifying, you take your pick. But yeah, I get your point.
He was trying to be entertaining. I don't get the feeling from Chibnall like he's trying to be entertaining. I don't know what he's trying to do, to be honest.
Neither do I, and so the fact that we're now here at this point past Series 12, the series that changed everything.
Yeah.
It did, because it's changing the way I watch Doctor Who from I'm here, I'm sticking with it until I die to, well, if you're doing this, fine, I won't.
Yeah,
I'll still watch it. I'm a Doctor Who fan for life.
Yeah,
I'm wearing a Chameleon Tours shirt, for God's sake. I'm
wearing my Doctor Who shirt under this jumper.
All right, don't put it away. You'll get 6 months in prison for doing that, darling. Cool.
But it is just a situation where it's shaking my faith in the whole franchise as well. It's actually funny because I compared in my Doctor Who Doctors rank from worst to best, I compared Whittaker to Colin Baker. And actually, this is not too different from the Trial of the Time Lord, just on a much bigger level.
Which, as I will continually point out, this was the series that Chippers railed against when he was really young, live on television.
Yeah.
And now we're here doing exactly the same.
If you can find that video where he was the head of the Doctor Who Society somewhere, it's hilarious.
I'm sorry for bringing it up, Chivers, but you live by your own rules, and the fact that you keep putting up stuff like this, 80s Who, showing that history is repeating itself with the series, I hope to God we don't end up getting another blooming hiatus. Oh wait, you already did that, darling.
Yeah. It could have been a lot better. It could have been slightly better written, especially the last story.
But yeah, if you can find that video of him knocking 80s Doctor Who, watch it. It's more entertaining than most of the stuff he's done this series.
Ooh, harsh, but possibly true.
Yeah, exactly. So basically...
it's working towards a niche, but we're not that niche.
Yeah, so with this particular series, you've basically heard our opinions where there have been 1 or 2 episodes that have been okay, but in general, it was just a complete mess.
And it's wobbling towards an arc that we are not on board with. No, that's fine.
I don't care what's going to happen. I don't care what's going to happen with this timeless child, because at the end of the last episode, the Doctor defeats.
Oh yes, it defeats the Master. Well, actually, no, she doesn't defeat the Master.
Well, no, it doesn't.
Some random old dude blows up Gallifrey.
Well, basically, she manages to defeat the Master's master plan, which was
making Cybermen Time Lords, which the comics have done already.
Yeah, exactly. The comics already did this with Rassilon teaming up with the Cybermen and becoming the Cyber Leader, which again was much better. But it is just a sort of and also they really kind of just swept the lone Cybermen under the rug, which...
Yeah, it was a point like the Master just turns mid-sentence and kills him.
Yeah, he basically
uses
his tissue compression thing that he used in Spyfall and makes him mini. Which, would that work, considering that he's mostly artificial?
Yeah, and it was also like, hang on a minute, he was carrying a bomb which would have destroyed everything in the world. Oh, it didn't go off. Never mind. Which was completely pointless then.
Basically, the lone Cybermen had a kind of an organic bomb inside of him.
Stupidly titled the Death Particle.
Yeah, basically, if it was detonated, everything organic would die. Yeah. And so basically, as a way of defeating, because of course Cybermen are part organic, the Doctor attached the miniaturized lone Cybermen to a bomb and threatens the Master with it, and then the old man who was helping people cross over just comes along out of nowhere and says, "No, you don't have to sacrifice yourself. I'll do it." Blows up. The Doctor's inside. It was her TARDIS, wasn't it?
Well, no, she ends up dumped in a quarry with the TARDIS in it, which is confusing and doesn't get explained. And
she uses a spare TARDIS on Gallifrey to go to where her TARDIS was parked, and then somehow the Jadoon...
We have 1 second's worth of breath, like, okay, we need to think about this. No, the Jadoon are here!
Yeah, the Jadoon transmat inside the Doctor's TARDIS and then arrest her.
You're nicked, and then they shove her in an asteroid which looks horribly suspiciously looked like Sharda, the Time Lord's prison planet.
It reminded me more of Luna Max prison from Men in Black 3.
Yeah, take your pick. And then ultimately the theory is, hang on a minute, maybe the Time Lords are hiding in their own prison.
Either way,
which would be interesting.
It's the cliffhanger for the festive episode, which we've got a long time to wait for that one.
Yes, we have.
But yeah, so this series was just... I said in my review of the previous series that I was hoping that there would be potential and that it would be developed and this next series would be better.
And indeed, it started off so well until Chibbers came along with his master plan. It did start off
decently, and yeah, it just... No, everything that I didn't like about the previous series was basically, it was made even worse in this series, unfortunately. I mean, like Ben said, we're both still fans, so we'll probably keep watching just out of the morbid curiosity and faithfulness.
It's sadomasochism now, isn't it?
But there is going to be a point, and to be fair, the ratings for this series have gone absolutely through the floor, so there may be...
And the audience appreciation is lower as well, which is worrying.
I mean, maybe like I mentioned that it's like the Sixth Doctor. Maybe it might be a thing where when the next Doctor comes along and there's a new series of writers that it'll start picking up.
And Chibbers, you can't wait 20 years and then suddenly resurrect Whittaker's Doctor through audio. No.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Don't play the long game, Chris, please.
But we'll see what happens. But it wouldn't surprise me if the public says we've had enough and Doctor Who will end up dying soon.
And the most interesting thing, the rumours for next season and who's staying on and who might not be.
Yeah, because apparently there are rumours that both Ryan and Graham are leaving, which is a shame because even though Yasmin's an okay companion, she's by far the weakest of the three.
But this is exactly what she possibly would need.
Yeah.
Will the BBC have the balls to go, all right, female Doctor, female companion, let's go?
Yeah.
Or will diversity kick them in the teeth and say, no, you definitely need a male companion?
Yeah.
That's the interesting bit.
It's something, but I am going to miss Bradley Walsh if he leaves because he's been
It's been 2 years, but it's been a very good 2 years with him.
He's been the highlight of this. I will gladly keep watching if he's still there. If he's not, then I might have to say, no, I'm done now. Because even though I do like Whittaker's Doctor, she's not got quite enough for me to want to keep watching.
Alas, I think it's the same for me. I want to like her, but it's the writing and the direction that's not working.
She's doing her best with the performance. That's absolutely true. But when she hasn't got enough to do with the writing, then...
And when she's in a crowded TARDIS of 4 companions, and then there's the side companions, and then there are the villains that are trumping her, and then there's the alternative Doctor, which also trumps her.
Yeah.
Oh, you have a stacked hand against you, Whittaker. I'm so sorry.
I mean, at least Colin Baker, he had a lot of input with the creativeness of his series, so he was able to...
This was the series when the producer and the script editor were fighting. I don't think so.
Yeah.
But he was trying his damned hardest in spite of all of it.
Yeah.
And Whittaker's doing the same.
Yeah, Whittaker's doing what she can, but it's just a situation of... You know, you can have as many good ideas, but so long as those ideas aren't executed, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was our opinion on Doctor Who Series 12. So, yeah, there was basically more of just us going on various rants about how we didn't like this series.
Sorry about that, folks. Well done for sticking to the end.
Yeah, but we'll see what happens with the festive episode. I don't know if they're going to do the same thing where they'll have the festive episode and then immediately follow on with the next series, but we'll see what happens.
We hope, because I don't think we can stand another hiatus where a fan production from a university was the best episode of Doctor Who in 2019.
The remake of a classic episode from Doctor Who. We watched that live when it came on YouTube.
Yeah, and it was very good indeed.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
You're not meant to be trumped by the fans, Chibbers. Come on. Bless you.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with Doctor Who. I always hold out hope that there's a chance that things could pick up.
Whilst there is a series, there is hope.
Yes, but...
Unfortunately, they've got to work to the niche. And again, if you're that niche, good on you.
But we'll see what happens, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.